Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. So in today's video I'm going to do a very quick overview of SnuggleFi. So there's been quite a lot of talk about SnuggleFi within DeFi over the last sort of month or so, I suppose. I've received quite a few questions. I've mentioned it in a couple of my other videos. I have been testing the platform for probably about 6 weeks now. So I'm not going to go into the technicalities today. I won't do a walkthrough of setting up positions and stuff like that. I'm happy to do that in a future video. I've also run a bit of an experiment running similar pools, one through SnuggleFi, one through VFAT. So once I've got another month or so of data on that, I will report back and show you the results of those. But today I'm just going to go through a quick overview of the platform, how it works, and what the main idea behind it is. So let's jump straight in. And first of all, what is a SnuggleFi? So it's an automated concentrated liquidity management protocol for both Base and Arbitrum. Think of it very much like a kind of VFAT, a front end for liquidity positions that you can set up through the platform. It supports Uniswap V3, Aerodrome, PancakeSwap, SushiSwap V3 and Camelot V3. But what makes it different from just using Uniswap's front end or using something like VFAT in front of Aerodrome? And what makes it different, it allows you to create single-sided positions at the current price boundary, basically. And then within a rebalancing point of view, it allows you to rebalance without doing any kind of swaps between different tokens. So zero swaps, zero slippage, no rebalancing fees whatsoever. So how does this kind of work? So a traditional rebalancing flow, so say we've set up a pool, in this example let's say it's wrapped ETH and USDC. Let's say the price is $1,900 for Ethereum and our range is $1,800 to $2,000. Now if the price moves up and we exit the range, say the price of Ethereum goes to $2,050, you're now holding 100% USDC. And then in order to bring it back into earning kind of range, most people then do a rebalance 50-50. So they go back into the center of the range, and you've bought back your initial token, your wrapped ETH token, at a higher price. You've therefore locked in your impermanent loss. A lot of people will understand what this kind of means. If the price then goes back down, comes down to the bottom of the range, you'll be sat entirely in wrapped ETH, which will be worth less. And then in order to bring yourself back into range, a 50-50 position, we enter in the middle of the range, we'll be buying back USDC, but because the price of our wrapped Ethereum in this case has dropped down, we won't be able to get as much USDC, and that's that impermanent loss that kind of like can accrue and lower the value of your kind of like positions over time. Now what SnuggleFi does is they use something called a Snuggle rebalance, which basically is a no swap rebalance. So in the same instance, price goes up to $2,050, you're now holding 100% USDC. But instead of going back into the middle of a range, a 50-50 sort of entry point, what it does is it moves your existing kind of pool, whatever width that was, say 10%, 20%, whatever it was, right up to the kind of current limit. So if the price is 2,050, it moves it as close to that as it can from the top end of that range. So you're entirely in USDC still, but your top of your range will now be 2,040 or 2,042, whatever it is, as near as it can kind of get. And then when the price drifts back a little bit, we're back in kind of range, and we haven't accrued any fees for swap fees, and we haven't accrued any impermanent loss. We've deferred that impermanent loss. If the price then goes down further and we come out to the bottom of the range, say price goes down to 1,700, it will then move your entire kind of range back down as close as it can get to that boundary. So we move down to say 1,710 or whatever it can do, get as close as it can, and then if the price kind of drifts back into the range, we're back in earning range. So we've deferred that impermanent loss. So the other question that I've received quite a bit is, what's the difference between SnuggleFi and maxfi.tech? Essentially behind the scenes they are the same platform, same people, it's just two different front ends. SnuggleFi is Base and Ethereum only. It tends to have less pools and they're more blue chip type pools. maxfi.tech has Base, Arbitrum and Robinhood. I've been playing a little bit over the last week with some of their Robinhood positions. It has more pools and it has more degen options. So if you want the full amount of kind of options and you want to test the Robinhood stuff, go to maxfi.tech. If you're interested in the more kind of core products, you know, ETH, USDC, correlated pairs between big kind of cryptos, SnuggleFi is the one for you. So what are the pros and cons of the platform? So the pros are it reduces impermanent loss. You cannot get rid of impermanent loss completely. If the price, you know, if you enter a pool and the price of that that asset, say the one that we did earlier, which was wrapped ETH, continues to kind of drop down, you will chase those losses all the way kind of down. But because you're not swapping into that, you are deferring some of that impermanent loss, and then you can kind of chase that kind of back up. So it reduces impermanent loss. It does not get rid of it completely. Your pool positions can lose value just as they can with anything else, and within those kind of ranges you're being moved back and forth between the two different cryptos that are in that pool. There are no swap fees, which is really good. And the other thing I really like is that it has automatic rebalances, including kind of time delay. So I think one of the issues with liquidity positions, particularly people who are kind of fresh to that, is that they enter a pool, it's really exciting, they're earning fees, then suddenly they're out of range, and they're so desperate to start earning fees again, they rebalance pretty much straight away. But the price might have just swung up temporarily in the morning, might come back down in the afternoon, and every time you rebalance and locking in that impermanent loss, it's costing you money basically in the long term. Whereas a lot of people would be far better off saying, right, I'll just wait 24 hours when anything goes out of range before I'm going to do anything. And half the time it goes up one way and then it kind of comes back into that kind of range. So you can include time delays within the automated options that it allows. The cons are it can't eliminate impermanent loss. A lot of people seem to think it does, but it can't, as I've previously explained. You can't compound all the fees. One of the reasons I like a platform like VFAT, for example, as a front end to Aerodrome, is that you can take all your fees and compound that back into the kind of position, so you can increase the position size over time. You are paying some swap fees and some slippage fees and stuff like that, but you can take all of your earnings, all of your earned fees, and compound those back in. You can't with this because there is no swap function. So if you've earned a mixture of wrapped ETH and USDC, you get to the top of the range, it rebalances. If you've set it to auto compound, it can only compound the USDC. At the bottom of the range, in exactly the same way, will only be compounded in the wrapped ETH. The rest of it will just be sent to your wallet. The other thing is, because you're not swapping or anything like that, you can't add to existing positions. I don't know whether in the future there will be an ability to do this. Maybe you can choose to add to them, maybe when you go out of range to one end or the other, maybe you can kind of queue up kind of like money to be kind of added in. But that's the other thing, you can't add to existing positions, whereas with a platform like VFAT, like, you know, as a front end, you can add more collateral into any kind of position. Let's take a very quick glance at the front end of it, and I can just show you what it looks like very quickly. So this is one of my test accounts here. Currently has $12,390 of value, 3 different pools. You can see a wrapped ETH USDC, Coinbase wrapped Bitcoin USDC, and an Aero Coinbase Bitcoin position. Very similar to a lot of these kind of platforms. Total value, total earnings, yield, the active positions, the total number of rebalances. It's quite high, but I've been testing different kind of strategies over the last month or so within this platform. If we click on one of the actual positions, you can see there's some additional options. So you can choose to collect the fees. You can auto snuggle, so this will auto move your kind of range around. You can do it manually, or you can let it do it automatically. And here is the delay. So this is set to a 4-hour delay. It's a range of 10.5%. It's a 4-hour delay. So if we go on a range, it will wait 4 hours before it attempts to kind of move the position around. And I've set this to compound, but again, only the match token will be compounded. The other one will just be sent to your wallet. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Hopefully that was useful for you. If you're interested in checking out SnuggleFi, I have a referral link in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything, but get a small referral fee when you earn fees. Comes out of their rev share, not yours. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want me to do a more in-depth video, actually setting up positions, if we jump back here, setting up positions on the platform, stuff like that, I'm happy to do that. You literally just click the earn button and then go through, select your pools. You can set then up the various options, but I'm happy to do a couple of test ones just to show you how it works. Thank you very much for watching. As always, hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video, but until then, have a great day. Bye bye.